Round number 2, here we go. It's back to Sin City for the Orange and Blue. We get you set for game 1 between the Oilers and the Golden Knights right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, live on location. Boston Pizza, Westgate. Big shout out to Tony and Curtis for having us once again to kick things off in the second round. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola with you from BP, Westgate, 170th Street and 90th Ave, along with a bunch of nasties already. We'll get to them in a second. Hernan Salas back at EST Global HQ. He'll be down here in a bit. I think Dusty's coming down, and Lieutenant Eric will be popping by as well. It's going to be a great time here at Boston Pizza. Westgate, of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Get into the conversation. How you feeling going into this one? Text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. If you're watching on YouTube, the march to 12,000 subscribers continues. We should get there right away. I saw Dusty post something that we were very, very close. So tell your friends, all that good stuff. And a big shout out to Rob from the Grove, Rip City Step, Jazzy's here. All right, Jazz. Yeah. She's like, put on the Cleveland Cavaliers game and not the Oilers game. I'm kidding. Calvin and Marjorie here, and we got VR Montenegro also in the house. Shout out to Jess, Cindy, Malaysia, and the entire staff here at BP Westgate, Tony and Curtis, of course. They want to remind people, Hernan Salas, Mother's Day is coming up. Heart-shaped small and medium pizzas all day Mother's Day Sunday. And they also have a contest, which I think you are very artistic, Nancito. So you might win this thing. In the lounge, in the dining area, pardon me, not the lounge, they're having it's a coloring sheet. And the winner gets a brand new Kate Spade bag. Ooh. So there you go. Yeah, that's on Sunday. Saturday, Oilers game, then UFC here at BP Westgate. That Kate Spade bag. You're all about that, right?
You know it.
Yeah.
Kate Spade's
even I know it's popular. I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about women's fashion, but I know that Kate Spade's popular. So Curtis was telling me, he's like, yeah, we're giving away Kate Spade bag. It's a coloring sheet. Whoever does the best in this competition gets the Kate Spade bag for Mother's Day. Just a nice touch. That's what they do here. Nice touches at BP Westgate. Tony brought out a pile of Oilers playoff T-shirts, some Oilers hats, and some Oilers socks, courtesy of Molson. He's got some $25 GCs as well. So come on down, looking for a spot to watch the game. Come hang out with us and maybe win some prizes. And if the Oilers win, it's a good time. It's going to be a good time here anyway. It always is. Now, so remember that game 1 against the Kings? Things were looking bad. Then the Oilers tied it. People were pumped. And then a minute later, it was 6-5 LA on that Philip Deneau goal.
Yeah, I'm not worried about game 1. Win or lose, I'm going to be calm, cool. It's the Oilers, man. They never
get angry a bit.
They never do anything easy.
I did say the other day, really quickly, I did say the other day, it's funny because the Oilers can never have nice things. Someone texted in, they're like, what are you talking about? They have McDavid and Draisaitl, you idiot.
And
but you said it right. They never make things easy. Yeah, Bouchard. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'm looking forward to this, man. I don't know what to expect. It's two good teams. We're going to talk about it all throughout the series. The goaltending matchup, special teams. The big one for me is, can Darnell Nurse and Bouchard improve defensively, Tommy? Because Darnell, LA scored 26 goals in that series. Darnell was on the ice for 15. Again, not all.
How many were Bouchard?
Yeah, exactly. Not all were Darnell's fault, but he was a part of a few, more than a few.
Very fair.
The difference with Bouchard, Tommy, is that Bouchard makes up for it in defensive zone because he had 14 goals against on 26 goals, but he was on for 15 goals.
Yeah.
So there's it's the frustrating part about Evan Bouchard, that he can be terrible in his own zone and then be brilliant in the other one. Where Darnell Nurse, I don't expect much offense from him. I'm fine with it if he doesn't provide offense because you have enough guys to do that. I just want him to hone in on the defensive side because he slipped a little bit in the playoffs, Tom. He was really good in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's kind of been up and down, and you need him to be at the top of his game, especially with Ekholm out, if the team's going to have a chance. But you know what, Tom? I was thinking of this today earlier. Like, the Oilers survived Darnell Nurse's bad performance last year in the playoffs. They did. And he was a big part. He played a lot. The Oilers survived Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse defensively in the first round. Can they do it again? Are they that good that they don't need these guys to be at the top of their game defensively?
Is that the question of the night?
No, but
okay.
Damn, it's a good one. Let's roll with it for now. I mean,
they need to be better defensively, right? And I'll give Nurse a bit of the benefit of the doubt because he's paired up with Bouchard, who's been an absolute mess in his own zone all season, but not all. Because there were some plays where you're looking at Darnell Nurse and you're like, what was your thought process there? Yes. Why did you do that? That doesn't seem right. Explain. And so, I mean, he's not completely clear and of blame because he deserves some of it. So let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Ashley Weiss will be joining us from the Vegas Golden Knights broadcast. She is their rinkside reporter. She is excellent. We'll be talking to her in a couple minutes. And then Matt Kassian, our game analyst, will be by about 6:45 or so. Let's get into, do you want to do the question of the night or do you want to save it?
Well, you know what? Let's run with that one first. Maybe we'll give him two questions of the night. When Cass hops on, can the Oilers survive another series with Evan Bouchard and Darnell Nurse being bad defensively? I think it's a good question. It kind of just evolved organically there, Tom. And and that's why I'm torn because I think the Oilers, I mean, when the Oilers can score and they're scoring 4, 5, 6 goals a game, they can survive anything, Tom. Really.
It's crazy.
But, I think Vegas gives them a bigger challenge, a better challenge, a tougher challenge. So
do you think so? I don't.
I do. The only reason, Tom, is because I think their decor is way better than LA's, and they're going to roll 6 guys. Yeah. And I also think that they're going to roll 12 forwards. Like today we were talking with Ken Bulkey, and I was like, do any of these guys sit? He goes, well, if they're down a goal, obviously you're going to see the main guys, more offensive guys play more. He goes, but Cassidy's not afraid to put any of these guys out in the final minute or to tie the game.
Another good lineup. Hey, there's Fergie. Hello, Fergie. Great to see you. Lots of nasties coming down, surviving 170th Street and the traffic on the west end. It took me over an hour to get here today.
Wow.
I was scrambling. I was supposed to be on with Reed and Jay. I apologize to Reed and Jay. I got here late. It took forever. Like, it was insane. What's going on in like that brush fire that's happening. I heard there's an evacuation and so affecting traffic. But we're here. We're ready to go. Ashley Weiss will be stopping by in about a minute or two. So text us your thoughts on the first question of the night. Can they survive Nurse and Bouchard being frustrating in their own zone? Let's put it that way. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Can says Ekholm jersey with the sad reminder. Yes, he will not be available in the second round. Just to get that clear and make sure everybody doesn't have any false hope. Let's get to the starting lineups before we bring in Ashley Weiss. Starting lineups brought to you as always by South Fort Chev. By now in Save, 0% financing, OAC up to 72 months, or save up to $8,000 on 2025 Silverado 1500s. It's also time you should have gotten this done already for your seasonal tire change service. Mention that EST sent you. Receive an on-rim tire change for $59.95 plus tax. They're also giving big discounts on inspections when you get your tires changed. Plus 6 Celsius is when winter tires basically start to melt. The rubber compound is so soft. I know this because I worked in a tire shop for 3 or 4 years. See dealer for details at www.southfortchev.com. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. For the Oilers, this is how they skated this morning. We'll see if there's any tweaks from Coach Knoblock. He has thrown some deception out there in the playoffs already. McDavid with Draisaitl and Perry. Nugent-Hopkins with Kane and Hyman. Henrique between Frederick and Brown. Janmark between Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Nurse with Bouchard. Wallman with Klingberg. Kulak with Emerson. As for the Golden Knights, Jack Eichel between William Karlsson and Mark Stone. Tomas Hertl with Brandon Saad and Keegan Colasar. Nicholas Waugh with Ivan Barbashev and Riley Smith. Brett Howden between Tanner Pearson and Victor Olofsson. On defense for the Golden Knights, Nick Hague with Alex Pietrangelo, Braden McNabb with Shea Theodore, Noah Hannafin with Zach Whitecloud. Don't expect Ben Hutton, Cole Schwint, Caden Korzak in the lineup. As for your starting goalies tonight, 33-year-old Calvin Pickard getting the nod. Why not? He's 4-0 with a 293 GAA, 893 save percentage of 5 games in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. He'll face the Golden Knights for the first time in the postseason. He is 5-1 lifetime in the playoffs with a 269 goals against average, 900 save percentage. Pickard has played 8 Stanley Cup games in his career. And at the other end of the rink, it will be 28-year-old Adin Hill, 4-2 this postseason, 283 goals against average, 880 save percentage in 6 games. And then lifetime versus the Oilers in the playoffs, Hill 3-1 record, 219 GAA, 934 save percentage, 5 appearances versus the Oil. That coming, of course, in the 2023 second round. Let's get to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy injury report. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You've got a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today at www.advantagesportmed.ca or call 780-460-9977. Short list for the Oilers: Matthias Ekholm, lower body, leg injury. Alec Regula, who has been re-signed by the Oilers, IR knee. Golden Knights, Pavel Dorofeev, who is an offensive weapon, day-to-day undisclosed. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Ashley Weiss joining us from the Golden Knights broadcast, Ringside reporter. Great coverage from her for a number of seasons, all season long. Ashley, what's the excitement level around Vegas for this series? Because I know people here in Edmonton are super, super pumped.
Yeah, I would say very, very high. I think this has become a really great rivalry. Obviously, if it's anything like the series that we had the chance to cover a couple years ago, then we're all in for a treat. But yeah, honestly, I mean, the hostility among the fan bases is one of the beauties of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I know that that viral photo of Evander Kane with that Vegas fan has been circulating around the interwebs here this week. So, obviously want to keep things classy, but on the same token, I think that there's a lot of excitement around it. And of course, from a Vegas standpoint too, fans like it when they're able to see guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, in person as well. So a lot of excitement all around. And again, hopefully it lives up to the hype and is anywhere near the series that we had a couple years ago.
Funny that picture shows up in around Vegas socials because it wound up in Edmonton socials quite a bit too. What a beautiful photo that was. Shout out to the photog on that one. Okay, the first round against Minnesota. Like, it looked at times like Minnie was giving the Golden Knights a bit of a run for their money. How would you describe that series against the Minnesota Wild and what ultimately led to Vegas persevering in that one?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that Minnesota surprised a lot of people. I think they put up a lot more of a fight than people anticipated. I think that the health of Kirill Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson-Ek made a huge difference for them for starters, but also I think early on, I think it was a combination of things. Minnesota was big and heavy, and they made it really, really difficult for Vegas to get to the inside and get good scoring opportunities. Those did not come until later in the series. And then as the series went on, Vegas, the top guys for Vegas started to heat up. Jack Eichel and Mark Stone didn't have any points in the first 3 games, but combined for 9 points in the second 3. Adin Hill wasn't quite himself early in the series either, especially it seems like if Matt Boldy or Kirill Kaprizov had the puck, but he ended up, finding his way as well. And, I think it's feeling really, really good about the way his series ended going into this one. And, I think this is probably a series that Hill gets up for. I asked him if he feels like this series against Edmonton a couple years ago was a turning point for his career. Because if you remember, he didn't actually start that series. Goran Brasov started that series, and Adin Hill came in relief in Game 3. And then, the rest has been history for him from, winning the cup to, being the franchise goalie here in Vegas. But I think it's a combination of all of those things. So, but yeah, Minnesota, a lot of credit to them. They definitely made life difficult on Vegas. But once the big guns for Vegas got going, obviously Vegas relies on their depth heavily. They feel they're one of, if not the deepest teams in the league. However, they still need their top guys going when it's this time of year. So good for Jack Eichel and Mark Stone that they got to that point, and they'll, of course, be looking to keep that going.
Ashley Weiss Joining us now, Golden Knights reporter, getting us set for the beginning of round 2 between the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, the Oilers are going to try to keep Eichel and Hertl and Stone and all those guys in check. No Dorofeev. Health-wise, outside of him, like what's the status of the Golden Knights? Are they banged up and bruised, or are they pretty healthy?
They seem to be healthy and good. Dorofeev, even that, obviously that's day to day, and he's not skating with the team. Not even totally sure what happened. It wasn't a very obvious play that took him out of that game. But outside of that, yeah, they seem to be in a good spot. Like, again, I did say Minnesota was super physical on them. So it's good for Vegas that they came out that way. But yeah, all signs looking good to start. Knock on wood. I'm sure the fans listening to me don't want me to do that, but I will do that for the sake of being here in Vegas.
Hey, you're just reporting the facts. That's all. And by the way, we've had a bunch of Golden Knights fans start to trickle in on our YouTube, and not so much the text line, but we've seen some commotion being stirred up. So it has begun, which is fantastic. We welcome in all of our viewers and listeners.
We love that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it got nasty last year with Vancouver, a little bit with the Kings last round, but we'll see, because this is a budding rivalry between the Oilers and the Golden Knights. All right. Do you expect this to be a similar series to the one we saw 2 springs ago, or do you think it's going to be a bit different?
Yeah, I think it'll be similar in a lot of ways. I think that obviously with Edmonton, it's a lot different. It's a lot different for the Oilers going through the experience that they went through last year. Vegas is aware that Edmonton is a lot deeper than they were previously, so that's something that they're prepared for and expecting. But the difference on the Vegas side, too, is that Vegas, has had that experience since then, too. I mean, Jack Eichel was playing in his first ever Stanley Cup playoff that year when these teams faced last. So,
right.
That's a different Vegas also. I feel like Vegas was really deep when these teams met a couple years ago, but Vegas, I feel, knows more about their depth now, if that makes any sense. For example, Brett Howden, that entire cup run, that was kind of like a coming out party for him and how skilled he can be. But now he's, sat with Vegas and had a career regular season here by a lot. So you just think of guys like that. Vegas just, they have the depth. They're aware of that depth. That gives Bruce Cassidy a lot of options. He has a lot of options he can work with, like even, starting the game tonight with Jack Eichel and William Karlsson together, which is how we ended the series in Minnesota. That's not something that you would normally put on paper, but it's something that he knows he can adjust anytime. So he has a good grip on, who works well together. While there are new faces, there are still a lot of guys here from that run. The center depth is, similar to what it was a few years ago as well, albeit no Chandler Stevenson, but now you have Tomas Hertl in there. So I think it could be similar in a lot of ways. I expect it to be just as physical. Like you said, it's a budding rivalry, and I think both sides are really excited about it.
Ashley Play Alberta, our proud sponsors here at Edmonton Sports Talk, have the over-under at 6.5. What are you taking, over or under on this one?
Oh, gosh. 6.5. I'll take over.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes. Bring on the goals. No defense. Forget that crap.
Yeah. Bruce Cassidy would not like if he heard me say that. So maybe that's not the way to go. But yeah, I'll take over for this game one. Both teams with a lot of offensive weapons. And that the game one here a couple years ago was high scoring for sure. So
yeah. Well, bring on the chaos. Ashley, thank you so much for the time. I know you got to get to your broadcast. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you here in Edmonton. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for this. Looking forward to it.
All right, there's Ashley Weiss, Golden Knights reporter on their broadcast. She's excellent. A big thank you. She squeezed in some time for us here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. You can text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Nanso, your thoughts on what Ashley had to say about this series and game one and where the Golden Knights are at?
Yeah, I feel like maybe I'm under. What's the proper word? Undervaluing, underappreciating the Vegas Golden Knights. Like I think the Oilers are going to do this quickly, but I mean, Vegas is a good team. I don't know why I'm keeping on them, and I'm being fair. Like I only saw a bit of that Minnesota series. It always looked. It was always close. It was always intense. That first line from Minnesota gave them fits, but they won in 6-2. So yeah, maybe I'm underappreciating what they can bring to the table. And we'll find out tonight, Tom. I mean, it's one game again. The Oilers played really bad in the first 2 games against LA, and then we're pretty good after that. And that's the thing, Tom, right? Like, this is where I'm at with this. The Oilers played one good game in the LA series. One, which was game 5. They had their moments in the other game. They had their moments in the other games, but they weren't like lights out outside of one game. And so that's why I'm a little bit more optimistic with the Oilers, because they have yet to put back-to-back games like they did in game 5. They've yet to really show up and play close to 60 minutes. I know it's cliche to say you have to play 60 minutes. No team's going to play a solid 60 minutes, but as close as you can be. And I think the Oilers haven't even hit that yet. And they won 4 straight against a pretty good LA team.
What do you make? I know the guys were talking about it on the Reed Wilkins show. What do you make of some of the comments coming out of LA the last couple of days about the Oilers series?
Yeah, it's you look at it like the Fogle comments, like he was pretty upset. Byfield, I almost felt bad for him. He's like, this is going to haunt me all summer. He didn't want to ice the puck. He just wanted to chip it out, and Bouchard ended up making a good play.
Yeah.
Young guy. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Kuzmenko and Gavrikov were non-committal to returning, which is interesting, because I think Gavrikov is a hell of a defenseman. He was really good for them.
Yeah.
Kuzmenko was good in the first 3 games, and then he tailed off. He didn't do much after that, and maybe that's why a lot of teams move on from him, Tom. You get little short sprints of burst of quality play for Kuzmenko, but then he kind of goes away on his own. So yeah, it's interesting. They're obviously frustrated. It's going to be intriguing to see the new GM, and if the new GM wants to bring in his own coach, Tom. I think that's huge. Jim Hiller, I know they're kind of saying we're not going to make a change, but I mean he got out coached. He wasn't a very good coach in that series, Tom, and I think you have to say it. I think if they don't sit back in the games that they lost, we're probably talking Vegas, LA right now. It's true though. Like, and
I think that's fair. They blew those opportunities.
Yeah, like you're gonna let McDavid and Draisaitl and Bush in the offensive zone come at you at waves for 20 minutes. They're gonna score. It's just a matter of time, and you gotta keep going at a team like the Oilers, because they have far too much talent. And I know they've been struggling, and I know finally they got some secondary scoring. So yeah, I find it interesting because we talked, like I told you, we had a Vegas guest. I've heard a few other Vegas guests on, and they're all pretty. Yeah, I mean, they cover that team, but they're all pretty confident that the Vegas is going to have a good series, and that's why I think it's going to be a tight one. There's something in the air about the Oilers, Tom.
I don't disagree with that. I'm with you. I have noticed, as positive as Edmonton media is about the Oilers, I'm one of them. You're one of them. I think Golden Knights media is equally as positive about that team going into this series. And this is going to be a great series. But you said totally fair. But you made an interesting point. You said you think this is going to be a harder series. I don't. No, I think it's going to be a hard series regardless, but I don't necessarily think the Golden Knights are that much better than LA. I think the Golden Knights have their faults. I think if the Oilers adapt quickly, like they tend to do in the postseason, they should be able to pull this off. I think vengeance is on the mind of the Edmonton Oilers. Mm-hmm. I think vengeance it's anybody
on the minds of the Kings too, though. That's why But Tom, I think the reason I'm the most confident is because the Oilers have yet to really show up outside of one game and glimpses.
Game 5 and Game 6 a bit, yeah.
Yeah, the domination they showed against Dallas in that series, the back-to-back wins 6-7 against Vancouver, we have yet to see that from them. So that's why it makes you optimistic that this team is going to just start getting better and better and better. And Frederick's getting better, Kane's getting better, Wallman's getting better. Like, so many guys are
Klingberg.
Klingberg, right. Yeah, exactly, right? So going to be interesting to see. And the farther they go, I mean, maybe they'll get Matthias Ekholm back, and the Oilers can continue to go with the D pairings that they have right now, which is usually a 5-man group right now. But yeah, intrigued by this. And I'll ask you, I guess, what do you make of Adin Hill? I mean, the save percentage is just under what Pickard had. By sounds of it, he started slow in that mini series, got better as it went on. But I know Gager's giving the goaltending matchup to the Oilers. Where do you stand on that?
I disagree with Gager on that one. I'm going to give it to the Golden Knights. Adin Hill's a good goalie. He's won a Stanley Cup. Like Ashley was talking about, he rose to the occasion 2 years ago, and he's turned it into a couple of really nice contracts, and he is the goalie for the Golden Knights going forward into the future. He took over for Robin Lehner, who couldn't stay healthy, and they weren't going to go with Laurent Brossoit as their number one. He got hurt in that series, and then they obviously had Logan Thompson, and he moved on to Washington. By the way, Washington's up. Alexei Protas with the goal in that game against Carolina. I think Adin Hill's beatable, and it was interesting. Belzy called me. I know he was on earlier, and he was talking about stuffing goals and getting pucks from behind the goal line to the front of the net, and that's where Adin Hill struggles. He called me to tell me about that. He got a bit of a pre-scout on Adin Hill. Let's see if the Oilers implement that strategy against him and utilize it, and if they do, maybe it leads to success. Maybe it leads to a rare first game of a series win for this team in the McDavid era. But yeah, I think still Vegas, I would give them the arrow up in net over the Oilers. That doesn't mean that the Oilers can't get a good series out of Calvin Pickard. Maybe they need to dip into Stu Skinner. I feel like we'll probably see Stu Skinner at some point. If we don't, that's probably a good sign. That means that Calvin Pickard's winning you games. So we shall see. But I do think that Adin Hill's a pretty darn good goalie, but he is beatable. He's not invincible. I can see him being motivated against Edmonton, but I like Edmonton's motivation against the Vegas Golden Knights because as you'll like this, Tony from BP, as we were going over the prize giveaways that we have tonight, if you come on down, we've got some Oilers Molson t-shirts. We've got some $25 GCs to Boston Pizza here at Westgate. Fantastic, as always. Oilers hats and Oilers socks, but he says it's the Edmonton Revenge Tour, Hernan. Okay. Vegas. Then he's going Winnipeg, get vengeance for 2021 when Winnipeg swept Edmonton. And he says Edmonton gets revenge on the Florida Panthers. What do you think of that?
Ooh. I saw that somewhere else last week, I think, too. I think we talked about it. But, yeah, that would be something. A nice little revenge tour. Curtis says Adin Hill's not a good goalie. He's just vintage Patrick Roy versus Edmonton for whatever reason. Got to rock him early.
Is that not a nod to Matthew Iwanek, by the way?
Yeah, but I'll say, like, I think we throw around not good goalie too much around these parts. Adin Hill's a hell of a goaltender.
He's a good goalie.
He was on Team Canada for a reason. Like, yes, he had a bad first round. So did the Oilers goalie. They weren't great. Let's be honest. Yeah, Pickard won 4 games, but he wasn't great. So and again, both guys, that's why I think it's an intriguing matchup. He struggled in the first round. Can he bounce back? Against the Oilers, sure, 2 years ago. I don't want to look back at that because they're different teams, Tom. Different teams, different coach. So that stuff to me,
different strategies. Yes.
I don't like to compare it. And Adin Hill was brilliant. The Oilers were getting to Laurent Brossoit in that series. If he probably stays in, the Oilers probably win, Tom, to be honest. And Adin Hill was good in that series, but I don't look back at that. I don't think he's lights out against the Oilers. But I still think he's a good goalie who struggled in the first round. Like Tom, many goalies did in the first round. And some
of the best goalies.
Look at goalie Bob yesterday.
He was not good.
No, so this is not just a Vegas Oiler thing. I think around the league, outside of maybe the guy in Washington and Freddie Anderson, every goalie's had their moments in these playoffs. So I'm not ready to say Adin Hill's a bad goalie, though.
No, he's not. Okay, really quick, flashback to 2 years ago. Do you remember who was the actual backup? The Golden Knights used 5 goalies that year they won the Cup. And Hill was dropped down to the 4th guy at one point because he got nicked up. Do you remember who their other goalies were?
Jonathan Quick.
Yep.
And they had Logan Thompson, who was hurt.
Yep.
It was Jonathan Quick, Laurent Brossoit, and Adin Hill. There's one more, you said?
There was one more. They had to dip into the Henderson Silver Knights. Yuri Patera.
That's a good trivia, man.
I know. So Thompson was there, Hill was there. They went and got Oh, what's his name out of L.A.? Oh my God, why am I blanking on it? Jonathan Quick. Yuri Patera had to play some games, and then obviously Robin Lehner. That was kind of the end of Robin Lehner too, right? So,
do you remember we were like, they're going to go to Quick. They're going to go to Quick. Because Quick still had some pedigree, right? Like as a starter when he went there, and we were kind of like, I remember I was thinking like, yeah, they're gonna go to Quick in the next game, but Aiden Hill came in and led him all the way after that. But I'm still believe, man.
Quick was their goalie against the Oilers the year before in the playoffs, where they went 7.
Yeah, that's right.
Now Quick has turned into a pretty good backup. I think he got a contract extension for next year with New York, so he's just kind of riding off into the sunset as a backup, and that's fine. I mean, he still wants to play hockey, and actually he had a decent year. At least he had a good start, and then obviously things went sideways for the New York Rangers. But yeah, they used a bunch of goalies in 2022, 2023 when the Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup. All right, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Let's get to the nasty chat as well. Peter via the inbox says, fellas, I have a quote-unquote hot take that isn't really a hot take. I think LA style was a good fit for Klingberg, so I can see him struggling and Stetcher replacing him. What do you think about that?
I think we are going to see Stetcher. Listen, Emerson's been a guy who's not playing a lot of 5-on-5, but they trust him immensely on the PK. He's become a really good, solid guy for that. A PK that's rocking at 60% right now, Tom. I know they started really slow, got better as the series went on, but I do think we might see Stetcher in this just because of the physicality. Maybe might be for Emerson. He'd probably be my first bet, and then Klingberg if he struggles with the speed maybe or the physicality. Yes. But I do think we might see Stetcher in this game. Now, I'm in no rush to get him in, Tom, to be honest. If he gets in, he gets in. It's not a big deal to me because I think Klingberg can hold his own, and Emerson is, as a young guy, he's doing exactly what you want him to do. Play sheltered minutes at 5-on-5 and kill penalties, and he's still around that. He can be anywhere from 7 to 12 minutes, which is fine because the Oilers are going to roll the big dogs a lot more.
I don't like where I would counter to Peter. I understand where he's coming from on that text, but LA is fast now. LA is big now.
Yeah,
and Klingberg was good. I think the Golden Knights are slower than the LA Kings up front. Not much, but slightly. I don't think Mark Stone's a blazer. I don't think you're going to see Jack Eichel, winning any speed relays.
Are they bigger though, Tom?
The Golden Knights?
Yeah.
I would say they play heavier.
Yeah.
Like literally bigger, maybe not, but I think they play a heavier game than LA because we talked about it. Like, Bernstein would be on, he'd be like, the Kings got bigger. They have skill. They have speed. They're not going to get muscled out of this series. They don't really play a heavy game, the LA Kings. The Golden Knights do. They got some big, grumpy a-holes that are a pain in the ass to play against, whereas LA, big guys who are skilled and weren't necessarily all about the tough hockey. That's where I think they're a bit different. And the depth that you talked about earlier, I think, is legit when it comes to Vegas compared to LA. But LA willfully, Coach Hiller, went away from rolling 4 lines and 6 D-men.
Yeah.
I think that was out of fear.
And in the last game, he rolled the 4th line more. Spence got a goal. Like, it's so fascinating why he went that route. And it was weird because all the LA guests we had on were like, they have better depth. But they didn't. Yeah. Like, that 4th line was unplayable, according to their coach.
No, remember they played Jacob Moverare? They got him back in. He played 2 minutes in that game.
Yeah, like, what was the point of that? Like,
they went 11-7. Yeah, I don't know.
What I do like about Vegas decor is that each pairing has a guy that can move the puck and a guy that's like a shutdown tough guy. Like, when I say tough guy, like a bruiser to play against, right? Like, it's an excellent balance they have there. And again, Cassidy trusts those 3 pairings. Like, he's not afraid to put any one pair out against the top dogs of the Oilers.
If you're going, what does the Golden Knights back end look like? Well, it's Haig with Pietrangelo, McNabb with Theodore, Hanifin with Zach Whitecloud. Not bad. Big.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Good first pass. They have some offense. Not afraid of anybody. So they do have a better, more formidable defense.
Do you
than
think
the LA
Vegas'
Kings.
team this year's worse than the one 2 years ago?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think they don't have as much depth at forward like they did a couple years ago.
Because who are they missing? Marchessault?
Yep. Who else is gone from them? I have to. I just had it. Jesus. Let's go back to it here. Let's take a look. I think they're older and slower too. I think Mark Stone has lost a step. I mean, the injuries are starting to catch up with him. Okay, Amadio's gone. Teddy Bluger is gone. William Carrier, who is a day one Golden Knight, is gone. Paul Cotter is gone. Byron Frazee, he barely played. Howden had an excellent year by since there. They had Phil. Remember they had Phil Kessel, the war pig, as Dusty called him. They also, Marchessault is gone. Alec Martinez is gone. Who else did they use that year? Yeah, that's just, and like Smith isn't the same. They had Chandler Stevenson. I think they're missing him. He was really good. I liked him.
That's a good one.
I think they were a little bit better before. I honestly do.
How about the Oilers?
They're still a really good team. More depth, bigger, tougher. Defense, question mark. Goaltending,
question mark.
Question mark.
Because in that series,
Sometimes
it was
good.
Skinner and
Sometimes
Campbell,
stinky.
right? Yeah.
It was Skinner. Yeah,
but Campbell
Skinner
was
played.
the backup.
That's right. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. I want to get to this one from CJ. CJ in Chicago says, Tommy, feeling extra positive today. Might be the sunshine in Chicago. Might be the wine. Go oil. You have a vino. I think Jasmine's having some wine too. You having some wine, Jazzy? You want to hop on?
Oh, Tommy froze again. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Gotta go to my shot. It's a GCL. Oh, he's back. You're back? You went away, man. You froze. Yeah. Okay. I was.
All right, let's get to the game day odds check before we get Jasmine on here. You can skip the flight to Vegas because jackpots are just a tap away. Experience all the thrills of the casino right from your phone with Play Alberta. Download the app today and deposit $20 using the EST exclusive promo code 100casino for a $100 casino bonus. So that's 100 casino, no spaces, casino in all caps at Play Alberta as we begin our lovely partnership with the fine folks at Play Alberta. It is the game day odds check. Your money line, Edmonton plus 110, Vegas minus 139. See, I switched to North America. I switched it, not the decimals. Yeah. The puck line, Edmonton minus 250, Vegas plus 150. Use your game sense when you play at Play Alberta. That is the game day odds check. Use promo code 100casino, all caps, for a $100 casino bonus. All right, Jazzy.
Yo,
welcome.
Tom.
What?
It was funny how mad Dusty was at you for the first. Remember that?
Why was he mad? I just didn't read it in or he's just giving me the gears.
He was giving you the gear.
He was. I was like, is he mad or is he just giving me the gears? All right, here's Jasmine. Hello, Jazzy. What's going on?
Hey, I made it. So
Excellent.
Dusty, LT, all you Dasties, you especially can't make fun of me. First of all, these headphones are unreal because you can't hear all the chitter chatter in the back. Yeah. Wow, are you pumped?
I'm always pumped.
It's game one.
It's game one.
We want to see what's up. We had a big break, and now it's just right around the corner. Watching the Cavs game right now. It's pretty entertaining.
Thank you for putting that on instead of the Caps game.
They had the Blue Jays game on. I had to give you a hard time.
Yeah,
but that's their time with association, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, give us a vibe check here at BP Westgate because I know it's going to fill up. People start trickling. The traffic is awful on 170. It took me an hour plus to get here today.
An hour plus? What are you in Vancouver? Mm-hmm.
Oh, you would know. You would know.
I gave you that one, I think. No, me too. Actually, traffic was pretty bad. I wanted to come in and stop by. And we got a bunch of nasties here, and they are fired up. We have some spots saved. VR, he's the president today, I think.
Why is that? There he is. He's got his EST. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. He's saluting. Cal and Sarah are here. That's awesome. I think Atif says he's going to roll in.
Ew. Rob from the Grove. He's the one who kind of opened up the waterfall here to get everybody here.
Oh, there's Big U.
Yeah, Big Uke is not here. He's going to get it.
He literally just turn around. Look.
Oh, of course he comes once I get busy.
There you go. All right. So vibe is good. We're going to have a lot of fun here. Game day specials, of course. I think it's $1 off tankards of Molson and Coors. And then $5.
50% off of wine bottles and 9-ounce wine.
Of course. CJ was talking about the wine. I read her text from the nasty chat.
Yeah.
And then, listen to this, Jazzy. On Mother's Day, heart-shaped small and medium pizzas all day long. On Sunday, and then they're also doing a coloring sheet in the dining room only, but the winner of that gets a Kate Spade bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, a Kate Spade purse?
That's right.
That's such a nice gesture. Rather than doing something kind of like a jersey or something like this, is kind of like, Mom like this. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mother's Day, Kate Spade purse is a coloring sheet. Curtis says Saturday. Obviously, there's an Oilers game. They'll also have the UFC here.
UFC, oh wow, it's going to be a wild Saturday. And guys, thank you to NHL to get the Oilers the Saturday nighter over the Leafs. That's a really big deal.
You're pumped about that.
Oh, so pumped.
All right, give us a thought on tonight's game. What do you think?
Okay, I know we want to do this whole score first thing, but Hernan mentioned it today on his show with Gager. It's not a big deal if the Oilers do not win today. But I think they have a good chance. The line was minus under 1.5, so it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be high scoring. Apparently, I don't think it's going to be high scoring.
Over under is 6.5.
Yeah,
I'm taking the over.
You're taking that? I think that's too high. I think it's too high for a first.
Bring on the goals.
Yeah,
bring on the crazy.
Yeah, the crazy's going to be brung.
Mm-hmm. You're bringing the crazy here at BP. I'm just kidding. How many glasses deep? One?
I have one. I just have one. Right. It's a weekday.
It's a weekday.
Yeah, but the Oilers scoring first is really going to help them out. It's going to give them momentum and the confidence that they've had leaving the Kings. Thanks, Kings. You gave the guys all the confidence.
Jasmine, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Okay, have fun with the Nasties.
Yeah, okay, let's go, guys. Hernan, what's up?
There you go. There's Jasmine, Sidhu. Of course, you can catch her on Hernan says hola. Yeah, you can catch Jasmine on the Hangout. She'll be on tomorrow with Belzy and Maddie Iwanek and myself. It'll be great. All right, text us 780-218-9999. Cass is ready to go. We'll get to him shortly. Quick out-of-town update on the Canes and the Capitals. Still 1-0 late in the second period. Alexei Protas with the goal. Duhaime and Carlson, the helpers. That one coming at 3:53 of the second period. Of course, you can get into the conversation via the Nasty Chat on YouTube, and then you can text us 780-218-9999. We want to hear your thoughts. Hernan, do you want to throw out the second question of the night before we get to Cass so he can start with that?
Yeah, same as the first time around, boys. Let's go outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, obviously. I want an X factor for the Edmonton Oilers and an X factor for the Vegas Golden Knights that are going to lead their teams to a series win.
Let's hear your thoughts as well to those watching and listening. 780-218-9999 and, of course, on YouTube. Let's bring in Matt Kassian to get his thoughts on the second question of the night. Cass, good evening. Looking good, my friend. What did you?
Good evening.
Good evening. X factor for the Oilers and X factor for the Golden Knights via Hernan Salas. What do you say?
Yeah, good. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit more. I kind of feel like the duo of Evander Kane and Trevor Frederic are the X. I'm going to put them both together, and I think they're the X factor for the Edmonton Oilers.
Trent Frederic and Evander Kane, you said? Okay.
Yep. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm going to go Brett Howden. Brett Howden, up in deeper pick. The guy that plays more minutes than you'd think. They generally seem to start him on the fourth line as centerman. Has over 20 goals or had over 20 goals during the regular season. Playing on that fourth line, and a guy that just kind of grinds it out. Good Western kid for you from Oak Bank, Manitoba, where one of my old roommates was from, playing professionally as well. Drew Bagnall, now an Edmonton guy, also from Oak Bank, Manitoba. He always complained about that the Howdens because he was worried they were going to get their NHL games in before he did. And he wanted to be the first guy from Oakbank to do so. And I think he actually got one in first. So good for Drew in that instance. But yeah, Brett Howden for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Did Drew Bagnall play for San Antonio? Am I remembering that correctly?
No, he would have been in Houston, but he would have been, the team you're probably thinking of would have been Manchester for the Monarchs.
Oh, yeah, okay. And I do remember Nolan Yonkman with San Antonio. That guy was as lieutenant.
Don't get me started on Nolan Yonkman. I had to play against him so many times when he was in San Antonio, and then so many times again when he was with Milwaukee, because he was Milwaukee's captain for a number of years, and we played them. So it's like you're playing like 8 times a year, and they went to Milwaukee. You played them like 8 times a year. The Admirals in Nashville system. I remember there was a couple times. I caught him good once. And I was like, I just get sick of him because he's so huge, like just a massive guy, huge human. And I caught him flush open ice once, and it was just the best feeling, like hitting a guy that size. And for me, it's like to hit someone that big is really rare because there's just not that many guys that are bigger than me. But just to crush him, level him was a great feeling. Old Yonks.
I remember him. All those games, the Barons and the Arrows and the Rampage and the Texas Stars, you guys would play against each other. I think it was like 12 a year. So, we saw a lot of Nolan Yonkman in that time. All right, so your X Factor, you went with Howden and then Frederick and Kane as a combination, right?
Yep.
And that is a precursor to Game Changers. I'm going to go with the janitor. It's kind of in jest, but at the same time.
No, it's not. You're deadly serious with this.
Yeah, like this guy plays well in the playoffs. So I'll go with Matthias Janmark. And then for the Golden Knights, my X Factor will be Aiden Hill. I know he's a good goalie, but we'll see if the Oilers can get to him. Hernan, who did you have again?
Kind of with Cass. I'm picking a duo for the Oilers. Bouchard, Nurse pairing when they're together on the ice. I know they kind of get split up at times during the game.
Yep.
And then for the Vegas Golden Knights, I was going to go Aiden Hill as well.
Okay.
Just because a lot of people are calling him a bad goalie. I don't think he's
not a bad goalie. No. What do you think of that, Cass, calling him a bad goalie?
I think the Vegas Golden Knights have the slight advantage in net here. So, no, I don't think he's a bad goalie at all. I don't think he's an exceptional goalie. I don't think he's the best goalie in the world, but he's not a bad goalie. Yeah, he's good.
All right, let's dive into Game Changers. Send in your X Factors, one for each team. We want to hear from you. We'll read those out as we go along. Get to the nasty chat as well. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in a city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. All right, Cass, point number 1. Dig pucks, not holes.
Well, I know Jasmine isn't worried if the Oilers lose game 1 and give up the first goal, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I know this is a team that seems to bounce back, that claws their way back into series, that is down 2-0 to the LA Kings and comes back and wins 4 straight and beats them. But you're just flirting with disaster, in my opinion. You're flirting with disaster, and the deeper you get in the playoffs, the more difficult it is to come back in those games, and I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see them dig themselves in another hole. Like, how about they're in control for a whole series, and it's never in doubt? How about Edmonton's up 3-1 and can win a game in 4 or 5 games and just steamroll a series here and not be down the first and just be in the driver's seat? I want to see them, Tom, have a game tonight. We know that they have been slow starters in so many of the series that we've watched the last number of years. That it's just a habitual problem. Hopefully, they get over it tonight. But I really would like them, Tom, to come out of that gate flying and to be the better team through 60 minutes tonight.
When the Oilers score first in this postseason, they are 1-0. The Golden Knights are 4-0 when they score first. When the opponent scores first, of course, Edmonton 3-2, Vegas 0-2. So dig pucks, not holes. Point number 1 of Game Changers. I love that, Cass. All right, I like this one. I'm very, very interested in your response to point number 2, size versus aggression.
Yeah, well, there's been more and more chatter, and rightfully so, about the size of the Vegas Golden Knights defensive core. Big group, mobile group from top to bottom. Like this is a pretty deep, very good Las Vegas Golden Knights defensive core. Now, they're not without their warts, and I think we saw that get exposed a little bit by the Minnesota Wild and some of their high-end skill play. I mean, you see the likes of Kirill Kaprizov, who is an incredibly slick player, really, really fun to watch. You know, if he wouldn't have been hurt this year, very likely, in my opinion, would still be in the running or would have been in the running for the Hart Trophy, like just an exceptional player. But I think you saw at times and I know people still have in their mind this view of Minnesota that they're still a team that just sits back and plays defense, and that's not really the case anymore. If you watch them, they have guys that push the envelope in the offensive zone from a skill standpoint, and at times in that series against the Vegas Golden Knights, the Golden Knights were exposed. You know, they had that size, but I think if you can be aggressive offensively, but aggressive under control, you can test them. Like they're not a group that is immune to making mistakes. They're not a group that's invincible. And yes, they're big, and yes, they're strong, and yes, it can be difficult to get to the front of the net. But you do have the capacity and ability to do so. And if you execute in aggression in the offensive zone. So not just sitting back, but again, attacking, pushing it, taking the puck to the net, getting the bodies to the net. I think you can expose them at times. You know, they're not flawless, even though they're really, really good. It's going to be Edmonton's ability to be aggressive under control versus that size and ranginess of the Vegas Golden Knights. It's going to be fun to watch.
I have a question about this, and it goes back, I think it was Peter that sent it in, if I'm not mistaken, via the inbox, talking about Klingberg, and Klingberg was more suited to playing against the LA Kings forwards as opposed to the Golden Knights one. And I said, I pushed back a little bit, and my reason why was because I think the Golden Knights forwards are a little bit slower than the Kings forwards, but they're more aggressive. Do you agree with that? How do you compare the two forward units of the Kings to the Golden Knights, what the Oilers D is going to see tonight and in this series?
Yeah, I think, you know, Vegas is more aggressive, and a couple of things. LA was faster, I think, in terms of applying pressure or their ability to, but the Golden Knights are a little more aggressive, and what the Golden Knights have that LA doesn't have is they have top-end skill. And I know, like, Byfield, kind of that power forward, is a skilled player, kind of runs over guys, but, you know, he has capacity to do things at an elite level, but he's not Jack Eichel.
Right.
And Anze Kopitar, great two-way player, fantastic player, would still have him on my team any day, good offensively, but he's not Jack Eichel. You know, he's not Thomas Hertl right now in terms of the offense that he can produce. And yes, you had Adrian Kempe, who was burying everything in sight and is a good offensive player, but you just have way more depth for the Vegas Golden Knights with Eichel and Hertl and Sad, who's fit in quite well there, and Stone, and you know, Kolasar, who plays a big physical game, you know, on the wing, but you know, kind of akin to some of the Los Angeles Kings. And so it's, you know, I think for the Edmonton Oilers defense, you have to contend with more skill here. So they're a little bit more aggressive offensively, where they don't sit back. So it's not necessarily like just the forechecking aggression, but they're more aggressive in terms of their offensive output. They're not just a sit back and wait to see what happens team, although they will do that at times. They're a team that pushes the envelope a little bit.
It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Point number 1 was dig pucks, not holes. Point number 2, size versus aggression. And then we looked ahead to the forward units of the Golden Knights compared to the Kings and compared and contrasted those. Let's go to point number 3. I like what you did here, Cass. Evander Frederick.
Yep. Well, we mentioned already in the X factor for me. Two guys who, for me, improved dramatically from the first game they played in the series until Game 6 and close the series out. Like both of them improved dramatically. We saw the difference maker that Evander Kane can be inside of games, not just from an offensive standpoint, but being around it, being in scrums, being physical, keeping the team engaged and alive. And I don't think Frederick was all the way there yet, but I think he has the potential to be. You know, when we're talking, and you already talked about the size of the Vegas Golden Knights D, you know, one of the ways you mitigate some of that is you answer in kind with what you're trying to do from a forechecking standpoint. Like if you have defensemen that are big, rangy, going to try to clear out the front of the net, you know, guys like Pietrangelo, they're going to try to play a little nasty, you know, get a little chippy in front of there. Well, how do you deal with that? You send your own guys to go hunt those guys down and to make sure that they're hearing footsteps and to be tough in front of their net. So it's not just the defenseman that's dishing it out, that they're getting it dished out too. And Frederick and Evander Kane are the two guys that primarily are going to have to do that. Now, I know Perry and you want Hyman around the net and you want other guys around there too. But I look at those two and I kind of go, and maybe I could put Podkolzin in there as well. So maybe it'd be like Evander Frederick Kolzin or something like that. Because what a combo. He's a guy too, where it's like, I need these guys, and I think the Oilers need these guys just to continue to up a little bit of that physical game, up a little bit of that nasty, like continue to be or make it difficult for the Vegas Golden Knights defense to play defense and to play that physical game that they want to play. Pietrangelo wants to two-hand, your players. You just do a lumberjack, and he wants to be able to do that. But I tell you what, he doesn't want that to happen to him. He doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to have to worry about getting hit from behind, or he's in front of the net and he's getting chopped, or if he goes to push someone and gives him a little cross check that he's going to get fed one right back. He doesn't want to worry about that. Now, I think if he has to start worrying about that, I think the quality of his play goes down. I think the aggression in his play goes down. And it's not just Pietrangelo, although I use him as the example. I think that's up and down the lineup. Like you can't tell me, Shea Theodore, it's not like he's a physical guy, but you can't tell me that he's not going to shy away from a little bit of physical play if those two are just on him and on him and on him. So I want to see for a 7-game series, starting from tonight, primarily with Evander Podkolzin and Frederick, that they just bring that physicality and kind of right from the drop of the puck, create that intensity for the Edmonton Oilers.
Modular Mike texting in says Evander Kane is a definite X factor. Around and find out. That's where the series where that came from. Obviously, we were talking with Ashley Weiss, the picture of Kane with that lady in Vegas where she's giving them the 2-finger salute, and he blew her a kiss. That was good. Leon's body language sends in a still image of the Bob Stauffer video on the tarmac. Oh, God. And then Rashog did one too, but it was AI generated. What did you make of Bob doing this and the Oilers putting it out there? Because it's all the rage. What did you make of that, Cass? You're muted, Cass. You're muted. There you go.
I didn't mute it, so I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. I didn't hit that.
I want to hear you talk about sexy Bob Stauffer.
Yeah, I want to call it the Stauffer Shuffle, and I want to see if some people come up with either AI generated memes or videos or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, you're trying to have fun, so it not something that I would do myself. But yeah.
Leon's body language sent in the picture. And he also said, I expect Party All the Time featuring Kenny Holland playing at Totem 24/7. Great jam. I think Lieutenant Eric produced that bad boy. Troll texting in says, X Factor is Kane, looking for him to get big hits in on the Vegas D and go to the net hard versus those big guys. Dean in Medicine Hat texting in says, wouldn't it be cool if the Oilers won the first game in a series? Would be so nice to say they're up 1-0 and not chasing the series. Not going to be easy, though. Cass, what about that? Like, just the mental pressure alleviated of winning game one? Is that fair for this group in specific?
Yeah, I think for this group, again, like, I don't know that this group feels pressure to win game one. I don't know that they feel pressure to win game one, because
you're right.
Why, if they felt so much pressure to win game one, they maybe would have won a couple more of them over the last while. I think this team doesn't feel that because they just feel they can come back from anything.
Yeah.
Be down 3 games in a series and they still feel like they'll come back until the series is over. So I don't know that they are feeling that much pressure to it. So then maybe there are some guys that are feeling that, and some of the conversation in the room, but I can't imagine that's something they're actually feeling right now.
Nancito, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I kind of brought that up with Gager. We went through their game ones. I think they're 26 and 29 all time. I think in their last 7 series, they've only won 2 game ones. But again, this is the Oiler way, guys. Like, it's like if they lose tonight, that's what I was trying to tell our listeners and the fans out there. Like, if they lose game 1 tonight, don't panic, because this is what they do. They'll be fine. No, I mean,
isn't that crazy to think that, though? It's like, that's what they do. They lose game 1.
They lose game 1. It's like, well, we're here again. They need to win game 2 to get the split, right? Like, Listen, it is a big deal, but I don't think it's a big deal for the Edmonton Oilers team because they always find a way. They're always better when their backs up or against the wall and they listen to all of us talk smack about them. They love that. They feed off that. So I'm kind of with Cass too, and we said it too. Like, it's, for me, this game, of course you want them to win. Of course. But if they lose, I don't think it's the biggest deal anymore. Or before it was all panic and, they're going to look at the LA series, boys. At 2-0, it was pure panic, and they won 4 straight.
Thank you, Jim Hiller.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
Yeah. Okay, Cass. Just the type of series, compare it to a couple of years ago. Edmonton had a lead in all 6 games, blew those leads, and lost the series ultimately. Obviously, Game 5 was detrimental. They're up 2-1. Broberg takes a holding penalty in his own zone by the net. I thought it was a soft call. And then Janmark gets caught for a high stick. A high stick's high stick. I know we complain about the officials because they're generally crappy most nights. But that was the turning point. It was like boom, 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 back of the net, and the Oilers were done after that. How do you think this series might differ this year?
I think you have an Edmonton team that's much more prepared for the length of a series that's needed. Vegas has their veteran guys too. But I think from a confidence standpoint, it's a different Oilers team. It's one that feels they know how to win in the playoffs. It's one they feel they know how to ultimately overcome mistakes. And I think just confidence is there. And that to me is the biggest difference from Oilers prior to Oilers now is the confidence. Now, the question for the Oilers really to me is going to be, can their defensive game handle what Vegas is going to throw at you offensively? But I think it's a very different series in terms of the confidence feel that Edmonton brings into it as they did, as opposed to last time. It's going to have a different feel to it. But I think there's still going to be the nasty, which is going to be fun.
I love that. Do you have a good feeling about this series from an Oilers standpoint?
What do you mean by good feeling? Like, do I think they're going to win?
Essentially.
I don't know yet. And the reason I don't know yet is if they play the first 2 games of this series like they did against LA, for as good as they've been coming back, I think Vegas is going to close you out in that situation. They're not going to collapse 3 or 4 times when they have leads in hockey games. I can't see Vegas doing that. And so if we get Edmonton, game 3 overtime and on, we get that version of Edmonton's going to win the series. If we don't, and we get games 1 and 2 version of Edmonton, could be over quick. So it really could go both ways. But to me, the series will ultimately be decided by Edmonton. Like it feels like Vegas is probably going to be pretty good either way. And Edmonton is going to be the master of their own fate in this, in that if they play well enough, they're going to win. If they make too many mistakes and shoot themselves in the foot too many times, they're going to lose. Like it's all in them. To me, it's not about what Vegas does. Right. It's like it's all in what Edmonton does. If Edmonton plays well, they're good. If they don't, they're going to lose.
This is going to be an awesome series, Cass. I look forward to it. It all starts tonight, and as always, a fantastic Game Changers segment. I look forward to also seeing you and talking to you on the post-game show.
Sounds good, fellas. Thanks a bunch.
That is our game analyst, Matt Kassian, with Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting now with the agency. As Trevor Savage is here. Savage is dressed up. He looks good. He's got the sparkler for the hair. There's Cal in the park. Who else do we have that showed up? Oh, Combine Crew's here. Good to see Combine Crew. Big Uke, VR Montenegro. Oh, Fergie's prostate. Lieutenant Eric's here now. Sarah and Cal. We got Rip City Step, Calvin and Marge. Man, we got like a great turnout of nasties. Jasmine's still kicking around, watching the basketball game, but clearly not because she's talking to everybody right over there. So good turnout here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Come on down. Take advantage of the game day specials. $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankers of Coors and Molson beer. It'll be a good time here at BP. And also, they're reminding everybody that they're going to have the UFC here after the Oilers game on Saturday. And for Sunday's Mother's Day, heart-shaped pizza, small and medium size. And then they have the coloring sheet, as Curtis described it, on the dining room section on Sunday. And the winner of that contest, Nancito, gets a Kate Spade handbag.
Cool.
For mom or your wife or your girlfriend. Cool. Or a lady that you love. Or maybe you're a guy that loves Kate Spade handbags. I don't know. At Ice House the other day, there were 4 gentlemen that all had handbags. and they had a great time.
An Amanda Kassian on the chat says, wow, that guy was hands.
Weird. She has the same last name as Cass. Does she happen to go by Mandy sometimes?
Very weird.
Oh, maybe she has a crush on him.
Yeah.
Hi, Mandy. Good to hear from you. She's lovely. All right. We are going to go down to Vegas. We're going to hear from Chris Knoblock. Who else do we have? Because I know like Nugent-Hopkins, Wallman, Perry spoke.
Whoever the hell you want, Tom.
Oh, you are the best. Let's hear from Chris Knoblock. What else do you want to throw at us here?
No, I was just going to say we're ready for Knoblock here.
Well, let's go to Chris Knoblock for a couple minutes. He spoke for 9. We're not going to put you through all of that. Just a couple minutes here.
Okay.
Calvin's our starting goalie.
Okay, that's it, I guess.
Maybe just a thought on potential power on power. Like if they have a top line loaded up, if that's the way you guys go to, how do you feel about that matchup? I know they have last change, but strategizing, you think there will be?
Yeah, we'll wait and see what they do. We will obviously have our lineup, and they'll be able to match, and we'll see what they want to do. If they want to go top line against top line, and how top heavy is it for them, and vice versa. There's a lot of things that we have to be prepared for, and I don't think they're a team that they'll want their matchups, but I don't think they're one to hide away from it. Like, I think they feel comfortable with their fourth line playing some shifts against our top line because they feel comfortable with their depth, and we're in that same situation. Like, I like our four lines, and last year as you talked about our rolling those lines and not worrying about who's playing against who. And we want to play a little bit of that same mentality of everyone contributing, everyone playing in situations, and but there'll be obviously some tinkering from them and from us, and we'll just see what they do after we pretty much lay out our lineup.
Do you have to be, I'm careful is maybe not the right word, but you have top end guys, and if they sense that you're moving them around trying to prevent something, or, I mean, I imagine they're perfectly fine going toe-to-toe with anybody, so you sort of balance that a little bit, letting them run against whoever versus trying to find them some space.
I don't know. You kind of have to wait and see how the game goes, and if things are going well, what the matchup is, and I think it's important that our guys have that rhythm, especially our top guys. And as a coach, you can't be jerking them around. You go out on there, there's a whistle, pulling them off, back out. I don't think any player likes that feeling. I know it is important to have matchups and guys out there for certain situations, but once the coach is over-coaching, it makes it tough for the players to play the game. And then the most important thing is the players are feeling comfortable. They know when they're going to be out on the ice, so they know when they have to do. And if a coach is continually messing that up, I think it makes it difficult for the players to play.
Chris, as you're talking about, there will be some tinkering naturally, but it seems like the four lines that you have, there's a lot of synergy that's been created. How did it get to that point, especially late in the year? There's a lot of moving parts, and even early in the series, last one against
Yeah, there was a lot of uncertainty going into the playoffs, and with so many guys coming back from injuries, McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Kane, Frederick, I'm just starting. And then, so them coming back, not sure when or how well they're going to play, but we weren't able to get some lines, some regularity, in the playoffs. Then we started to do that, and we pretty much had the same lines for the last two games, which feels like an eternity with what had gone on the last month of the season. I think those guys are feeling comfortable and like who they're playing with and how the rhythm of the game's going for them, that there's a good chance we'll try and keep it as similar as possible.
A lot of coaches like this.
All right, that was a calm, cool, collected Chris Knoblock. That's how he does things. It's his demeanor, and continues on into round 2 against the Vegas Golden Knights. A couple of nasty chats that I want to get to before we go back to Vegas for some more. thoughts heading into game number 1 here. Haggard Prospector says picks needs to be picks, and that should be good enough to outperform the other end. And then Ace says the first 8 minutes will be feel out, then it'll start for real. So some vibe checks on this series from some of the nasties in the nasty chat. Ton of nasties here, by the way, already at BP Westgate. We're live on location, 170th Street, 90th Avenue. Hopefully the traffic is better on 170th Street. Took forever to get here for me. Took an hour. So shout out to Reed and Jay. Sorry I missed that hit with you guys, but I was stuck on the road. It was brutal. All right, Nat, so do you have any follow-up to Chris Knoblock, or do you just want to go into Ryan Nugent-Hopkins here? What do you think?
Let's go to the Nuge.
Sounds good. Here's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
On the challenge that this blue line may present, just the size of these guys and kind of the way they defend the middle of the ice and what you guys need to do against that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're a good decor, a lot of bigger guys, experience. So, I mean, it's like any series, though. The more you can wear them down, the better. I mean, you want to put pucks in and keep things simple. I mean, it's cliche, but it does work, and just wear them down as much as we can, and then just try to play in the O-zone. I mean, obviously that's where we're going to create a lot of our looks. They're pretty good off the rush at defending, so we know that it's gonna be a grind, but we look forward to it.
From a matchup standpoint, I mean, it looks like they've got a line loaded up as well. They've got last change. You might see some of that Eichel line. What's the right way to play against them? You know, try and limit him, but also push offense as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to play with the puck as much as you can when you play against a line like that, but just be aware. Nothing easy for them, and know where they are, and when they're out there, yeah, I mean, just be aware. They obviously have skill to be able to make plays, but it's like any guys, you don't want to give them anything easy. You want to make it tough on them, and obviously the hardest way to play for them would be for us to have the puck as much as we can.
Ryan, what's the biggest takeaway from the series a couple of years ago that you applied to the series?
I mean, sticking with it through 60, it's always so important against anybody, but we kind of felt that against Vegas for sure. I think somebody said we had the lead in every game in that series, which I didn't even remember that, but obviously they're a team that's not going to go away. They're going to keep pushing, and we have that same mindset. So it's about trying to stay in it for 60. Obviously, it's hard to play a perfect 60 minutes, so you want to do the best you can.
You didn't have the lead in the Kings series.
Yeah.
So what's the kind of the key to turning that around and having kind of better starts?
I thought we had a couple good starts. Just kind of couldn't find ways to get that first one, but I'm going to say it again, it's just a simple mindset and allowing us to skate and get everybody into it. But I talked about it before. I think Game 6 was putting a lot of pucks on net, just trying as much as we can to wear them down that way. You're defending team, you're kind of watching bodies as the puck comes in as a forward. You can go get that puck, so it's a lot easier to pick them up and play in the O-zone if you're putting a lot to the net.
Ryan, the Golden Knights had a top 3 power play during the regular season, and they won the Minnesota team, the Minnesota series on special teams. Just a thought on how your PK group collectively progressed during the LA series and the challenge here against Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, we have confidence in our group. Obviously, first 2 games, they kind of dinged us up there, but we know that we can be a good PK, and we understand how important special teams is in the playoffs. I mean, like you just said, I mean, you can win games, you can win series. So we take a lot of pride in it, and we'll prepare for it.
This building, you played lots of here.
All right, that was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins as he gets set for the Vegas Golden Knights. He's like, somebody told me that we had a lead in every game in that last series that we played against them. They did. They ended up losing that one. Edmonton 1-0 when it scores first so far this postseason. Vegas 4-0 in that situation. Shout out to Tony here at Boston Pizza Westgate. Look out, man, so you might get a shot when you show up here.
I can't wait.
And Corey B. also sent one to the entire Nasty. So shout out to Corey B, who can't be here. He's stuck in camp right now, but he says he'll see us on Thursday. What were you going to say there? Sorry, I cut you off. My bad.
I can't wait to see Tony and tell him how Bouchard was the main reason they're into the second round.
Oh, he's having none of that. He was giving me trades for Bouchard in the offseason as soon as this postseason's done.
Boy.
Tony's ready to go. He's got his Oilers jersey on. Tony also has provided us with a bunch of giveaways for tonight, a bunch of Oilers hats in partnership with Molson. Of course, some Oilers playoff T-shirts, some Oilers socks, and we got a whole bunch of $25 GCs to Boston Pizza, Westgate, where we are live on location. We'll be here all night. You see Jess behind me there on this shoulder. She's awesome. They've got Marasia working. I saw Cindy earlier and Shar as well. And then Tony and Curtis are here. You can also hit up the Coors Light Golf Simulator. $20 an hour. Great price. But I think everybody's going to be glued to game number 1 between the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights. Get those texts in, 780-218-9999. I did have a couple that I wanted to read. I saw it in the Nasty chat. A new handle, Mr. Cider, I'm not going to read the first name, says, oh, man. Mr. Cider has a lot of texts that have come in. But this is the one I want to get to. Secondary scoring will be key. The Knights will be hitting McDavid and Leo hard and often. I mean, 21 points between Draisaitl and McDavid in that first round. But did it feel like dominance from those two in that series from you?
No.
Or from your standpoint, sorry, Hernan.
No. Did you?
No, I thought they were good. I mean, those guys show up every postseason. I expect them to be good like they were, but they didn't own games like they have in the past. They did get secondary scoring. So Mr. Cider brings up, secondary scoring will be important, but Edmonton did get it, especially game 6 against the LA Kings. So that's a good point. Edmonton did get secondary scoring, so we'll see if that continues in this round. All right. Let's get to the starting lineups one more time. We have a few more minutes left. You can text us 780-218-9999. Get to the Nasty chat. Lots of you are. We love that. Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate it so very much. We're very, very close to 12,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is excellent. We're less than 2 years into Edmonton Sports Talk as a station, and we appreciate everybody who's joined us for the ride. It's been a ton of fun. Look at these. All of these people here are nasties. They show up all the time. They're fantastic, and they're very welcoming. So come and join us here at Boston Pizza Westgate. All right, one more time. Starting lineups for tonight. Starting lineups, as always, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Drive a little, save a lot at South Fort Chev. Check them out, www.southfortchev.com. Go see Claire and Daniel over there, and the rest of the fantastic crew. For the Oilers, McDavid between Draisaitl and Perry, Nugent-Hopkins with Kane and Hyman, Henrique between Frederick and Brown, Janmark with Podkolzin and Arvidsson on defense, Nurse with Bouchard, Wallman with Klingberg, Kulak, and Emberson. No Jeff Skinner there. Nancy, what do you make of this? Some people have been saying, get Jeff Skinner back in there. Why? What for?
Just change, man. Like fans love that stuff, Tom, and it's just the way it is. Someone texted our show saying he should be in for Arvidsson. Arvidsson's been terrible, and I completely disagree. I completely disagree with that. Arvidsson, okay, maybe he's not scoring at the rate, but he's mucks it up, man. He's a playoff guy, and he was a part of one of the biggest goals in the series against LA, the Game 5 winner, when he put it on net. He planned it perfectly.
Who mopped it up?
The janitor.
Hey, my X Factor.
Yeah, so I'm a Jeff Skinner guy. I want him to have success with this team in the playoffs. But right now, unless there's an injury, he's not playing, Tom.
Savage with a quick update. Caden Korzak is out on the ice for warm-up, but Alex Pietrangelo is not. Thank you, Savage. Appreciate that. I have not been watching Twitter. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I got lines from Ryan, the hockey guy who does pre and post for the Vegas Golden Knights, and he has made
fire away
with Theodore. Haig with Korzak, Hannafin with Whitecloud. Up front, Carlson, Eichel, Stone, Hurdle with Kolesar and Sad. Raw between Smith and Barbashev, and then Brett Howden with Olofsson and Tanner Pearson. So a developing story. Alex Pietrangelo doesn't look like he's going to play tonight.
What do you make of that? Text us. We want to hear from you. We have a few minutes left in the pregame show. It is a 7:50 puck drop. We will obviously step out and allow you to.
Tom.
What?
He is out due to illness.
Yeah. Oilers flu? Kidding.
Something in the water, Tom?
Oh, that's...
So it's not an injury. It's a sick. He's probably got the flu. Maybe he's got a stomach flu, Tommy. Maybe he has food poisoning. Who the hell knows?
Maybe. But no Alex Pietrangelo. How much of a difference does that make? Text us. 780-218-9999. Does it change your opinion of this game tonight? We want to know what you think. So no Alex Pietrangelo for the Vegas Golden Knights. Caden Korzak will be in
huge.
For Pietrangelo. Take advantage.
Yes.
Take advantage of the fact that Pietrangelo is not in. I'm in this group chat with a bunch of PR guys from around the league and Bernstein, and they noticed the Pietrangelo thing, and they're like, what's going on with Pietrangelo? And they really don't want Edmonton to win. I'm just going to say that.
Does Korzak get a regular shift? Probably not.
Yes, I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I think it's going to be kind of like Emberson, spot duty, but enough in the first two periods, and then depending on the situation, third period, maybe we see less of them. If Vegas is up, he probably plays in the first 10 minutes of the third, and then when they need to, if they're only up by one, they'll probably pick other guys instead of him to go out there shift after shift and throw out some different combinations. The way we see like Kulak roll up there with Nurse at times and slot guys around. So I think it'll be a similar situation with Korzak. But he's reliable. Like if you're wondering about Caden Korzak this year, let's take a look at his numbers from this season. He shouldn't be that unfamiliar to fans, even of the Oilers, because we see the Golden Knights 4 times a year. He played 40 games this year, 10 assists, 2 penalty minutes, plus 15. Not bad. Right? He played half the season. Yeah. Product of Yorkton, played for Kelowna in the dub. And he's been up and down the last 4 years between the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights. This was his first full season as a Golden Knight. So there you go. No Pietrangelo, Korzak in.
And quickly, Stankoven has just tied it up at 1 against the Washington Capitals just over 10 minutes ago in that one.
All right, there you go. Game number 1 between the Caps and the Hurricanes. We've got some text to get to, 780-218-9999. A couple minutes left. Troll says, sounds like he does have the Oilers flu. Thank you, Troll. Schmokey the Bear says, I'll take it. And Schmokey with a SH. So emphasis on Schmokey. This one says, it's from Maple Jet. If one guy is sick, there are probably others similar to the Oilers in round 2 last year. Maple Jet, optimism. I understand. And the Bug, they're probably like, you stay home, Alex. You stay home. Do not affect the rest of the guys. All right, Nancito. We had Ashley Weiss, Golden Knights reporter, who was on earlier. She was excellent, giving us the Golden Knights perspective. Cass was great with Game Changers. What say you in the final couple minutes here?
Yeah, let's go. Round 2. We'll see what kind of game. A big break for the Oilers. Alex Pietrangelo out. He's one of their main go-to guys. He's good offensively. A little bit older, sure, but he's still a solid veteran who's been there, done that. He's done it all. So a huge advantage for the Oilers. We'll wait and see what happens here. I'm looking at the goaltenders tonight, Tom. Who's going to outduel who? And we'll see what
Calvin
happens.
Pickard and Aiden Hill.
Let's
both
go.
Strengths, both weaknesses, both under the microscope in this series. All right, Nasties, you guys were great. If you want a place to watch the game, come visit us here at Boston Pizza Westgate. We've got some great giveaways here for you, some GCs as well. On Sunday, Mother's Day, take care of your mother. Kate Spade handbag if you're good at coloring. They have a coloring sheet. All right, a big thank you to Ashley Weiss for stopping by from the Golden Knights broadcast, as well as everybody who is here, all the Nasties. Get in here, Nasties. Come on, let's send everybody up. Get in here. Let's go. Look at this crew. They're unreal. Come and join them here at BP Westgate. Dusty's going to be here. Lieutenant Eric is here. There we go. Combine crew showing up. Great hat. That's a Gretzky hat. More Combine crew. There's Big Uke. There's Rob from the Grove. Come and join us. We'll be here all night long. That's going to do it. For Hernan, Salas, and Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy Game 1 between the Oilers and the Golden Knights. We'll see you on the post-game show.